Yo, what's going on, swole bodies? It's Hasten here. Welcome back to another video. And before you dislike and before you leave a comment, I have a couple of viewer discretion advisories, I guess. This is a personal opinion. Crazy, I know. Just because I didn't like part 4 as much as other parts does not mean it's bad. It's crazy, I know. But hear me out. I'll go into why I didn't like it as much. And I know a lot of people did love it. Like my friends, we would discuss what part was our favorite part, and they would be like, part 4. I'd be like, yeah. But no, I know a lot of people like part 4, but a couple of reasons why I did not. Okay, so let me go into my little brief history real quick of how I got started into Jojo. So my friend wanted me to watch it. I was like, I'm watching other things right now. And then I got a request from this guy named Wyatt Maliv to react to part 5. I really actually liked it, so I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a try. Tried it, watched part 1, part 2. Part 1 was okay. Part 2 was, I loved part 2. I loved Joseph. Part 3 was even better. I loved Jojo. And all 3 of them were like super like swole and stuff, and they were like ripped and they were crazy, and I loved them. And then part 3 they introduced the stands. I liked part 3. I loved it so much. Hammond was cool from part 2, everything like that. Part 4 comes, and I really think the main reason why I disliked it is for two main central reasons. One, it had it would be so hard for it to, in my mind, compete with part 3 if it didn't have something similar to part 3, because I absolutely loved part 3. I know a lot of people didn't for some reason. I really did. I loved Jojo. I loved the boys going. Basically, it's the boys going on an adventure, and in my personal situation, I almost related it to my boys, my friends, Isaac, Kyle, Michael, just like going on like an adventure, which would be like sick. So part 4 came, and it really they didn't go on an adventure. They basically just stayed in the town of...
So start.
They just stayed in the town of Morio, which I'm not really sure. I think I remember it being Morio. Yeah. There was Okuyasu and Koichi and Jojo, a little bit of Jojo, but I really did like the stands. I like their stands. I really did. Just because I didn't like part 4 as much as other parts doesn't mean I hated it altogether. So I really did like the stands. I liked a lot of things about part 4. It's not trash, as probably the title says. That's just like, what do you mean it's trash? It's just like a couple things that I did not like about it, but that clickbait, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm kidding. I really liked Kita at his stand, and they introduced remote control stands and the arrow and all those things. And there's a lot of good points to Jojo's, but I just didn't like how they like stayed in one spot. The other super main thing was the art style. It was almost more slice of life-y. It had like a slice of life-y feel. When you come from part 1, part 2, and part 3 all having similar main protagonists, like they were like big and swole, and the art style was like super hard and rough, and I really liked it, and the shading was super cool in part 3. I liked part 3 a lot, as you can probably tell. But part 4 kind of did away with all of that. Like, there's a meme because Jojo looks so like old and like hardcore part 3, and then part 4 he looks younger, and part 5 he looks even younger, but that's just a meme. He de-ages as the parts go on. I just didn't like the art style. I didn't like how they changed up Jojo's hair. I liked Jojo's hair in part 3. I really did. I don't know, is that picky of me? Maybe, I don't know, but I just really did. And also, you go to Josuke, who is this like really small, skinny dude who really gets pissed when you mess with his hair or make fun of his hair. Not very badass, is it? Jonathan was a super chivalrous guy, the super noble guy. Joseph was a super funny guy, but they both had like their own badass personalities, like the underlying badass personalities. And then get to Jojo, who is like just constantly in that. To me, he's like constantly badass personality. And then you get to Josuke, who can be only when you make fun of his hair, or when Okuyasu almost got murked. Those are really the only 2 things I can remember. But it's not that I didn't like part 4. It's just, like I said, it's just the fact that part 1, part 2, and part 3, they almost like set a standard of like how the art style is going to be. And I know in the manga it started out that way. By the end of the manga, it actually transformed into the art style that we see in the anime. Part 4's art style just stays how it was at the end. So part 4 started in the manga as like the same style, but the manga creators' art style changed. So it's not that changed art style is a bad thing. It's just my personal preference was the fact that I liked part 1, part 2, and part 3's art style. But now I'm on to part 5, and I like part 5's art style because it combines part 4 and part 3. I wish part 4 did that, but maybe it is because it's more of like a slice of lifey type. Like one scene that I really remember is when there were these bullies beating the shit out of the turtle. Like the first episode, they were just like, Josuke was looking at this turtle, he liked it, just looking at it, just chilling. These bullies started beating the shit out of it and almost like killing it. And Josuke was just like, okay. Alright. And then the bullies were like, oh, your hair looks weird. And then he goes like ape shit. It's like, what the fuck? And then that's when he like beats the hell out of them. And I was like, I'm not really feeling it. I like Koichi better than Josuke, honestly. The little 2 foot tall dude. It didn't have the same impact as part 3, especially with how part 3 ended. It really hit me a certain way, and I was like, fuck, man. That really just happened in part 3, right? That really just happened. And part 4 came, and I was like, alright, part 3 was sick, let's see part 4. And then it was like the hype of the badassery, and then kind of this dude gets mad about his hair. And again, like I was saying, it's just a personal preference. A lot of people like part 4. Not saying it's the worst. Not saying it's the best. In my mind, part 3 was the best. A lot of people didn't like part 3. Nowhere near as much. I'm not done with part 5 yet, so I'm not saying it's the best out of all. I've read the manga. I'm not saying it's the best of all. Out of part 1, 2, 3, and 4 so far, part 3 is my favorite. Part 2 is my second favorite. Part 1st, third favorite. Part 4 is my fourth favorite. Just because, like I said, just the art style. And I feel like I related more toward the Jojos who are like big and muscular and ripped because I actually have done training videos to look like them. And I want to look like them because that's just my body type. Like I'm a big dude. I don't know if you can really see it on camera or if you've been able to see it. My overall body type is just like a big dude. So they were almost inspiring to me too. Like Goku. And then you got Josuke, who's like this skinny dude. There's nothing wrong with skinny dudes. It's just part 1, part 2, and part 3 all have these like big buff dudes like I was saying. But I did like part 4's stands. The stands were super cool, like the electrical one, Chili Pepper, I think. And the freaking rats that got stands somehow. That was a pretty cool concept. Akita stand, like I was saying, Josuke stand, Shining Diamond, Crazy Diamond's pretty cool. Koichi stand's pretty cool with how it evolved. Okiyasu's stand is ridiculous, but he's just too stupid to use it. And another thing is, it really didn't leave an impact on me. The only person we really see from part 4 in part 5 is Koichi. Josuke is nowhere to be found anywhere. We see Jotaro and Koichi. That's something that I've always liked, is that we saw Joseph in part 2, part 3, and part 4. He was like coming back. We saw Jotaro in part 4 and 5, and I'm pretty sure he's in part 6 too. It's pretty cool, the concept, but Josuke, he doesn't come back, or he hasn't come back yet in part 5. Maybe he does. I haven't seen all part 5 yet. He doesn't come back, and there's really like no sort of emotional attachment that really stuck with me with him for some reason. I know a lot of people did. A lot of people like Josuke way more than Jotaro, way more than Joseph, way more than Jonathan. So far, I even like Giorno better than Josuke. A lot better than Josuke, actually. It's just something, it's really hard to explain because it's not just something as simple. Because I did like part 4 elements. I did not like some of part 4's elements. And it's not really something that you can just like throw a label on and be like, this is why. It's just like a bunch of things that I'm trying to deconstruct. It's hot as fuck. So again, I'm gonna restate this just to make sure that you get the point. Part 4 was not trash. It was not trash. Just to me, it was the lowest ranking part so far. Out of all the first 4 parts, even part 5 so far, I already like part 5 more than part 4. It's the lowest for me. I just really don't have any like emotional connection to Josuke. Like I like Koichi, he comes back. I feel like Jotaro liked Koichi more than freaking Josuke. But that's the vibe I got. Josuke's stand was really cool though. I like that concept. Is basically like a weaker star platinum with the ability to reconstruct broken things. It's pretty cool. I like the concept. But Giorno's is already kind of like making his practically useless with the healing ability, because Giorno's is just like ridiculous at this point that I've seen so far. I've only seen like up to like episode 18, and I've already know that that Giorno's healing ability is way better than Josuke's will be. But yeah, so those are basically the main reasons why I just didn't like part 4 as much as part 3 and 2 and 1, because of the main character, the art style change, And a couple other minor things, like with the art style change, Jotaro's hair change. I thought it was so badass with his hair like flowing back there. I was like, that's fucking sick. That's cool. I like it. I do. And then part 4 comes. He gets mad at his hair. It just didn't hit right. It didn't give me the same vibe and the same emotions toward the main character as part 3 and part 2 and part 1 did. That's just a personal preference. That's just something that's happened with me. Part 1 and part 2 and part 3 could not resonate with anybody, but part 4 did. And then part 4 is their favorite, and that's perfectly fine. It's just my personal preference, like I said in the beginning. Sorry for the minor clickbait, but basically that's gonna be the video. Jojo's discussion. Let me know what you guys think. Is part 4 your favorite? If it's not your favorite, where does it rank in the first 5 parts? Rank the 5 first parts of Jojo's, and let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. This has been a discussion on Jojo's, and if you have anything to say, of course, leave it in the comments. I'll reply to all of them. I'm gonna make a Discord soon, so discussion could just be in there too. And I'll see you guys next time. Johnny, I thought that I'm a fucking weeb.